In the last year of production, the fourth season, a person from the production office came up to me and said, "You know, I've just seen the credits for one of the episodes, and I had no idea that you did Pilot's voice." And I said, "Well, that's terrific. Great, thank you." Took you long enough.
Prepare for immediate starburst. Nothing can stop me from killing you. You stole my life!
Just get out!
Starburst!
I was testing for Farscape for the best part of 3 months. And I would pass this very tall gentleman in the corridor. It was Anthony Simcoe. Anthony and I were actually testing for Dargo. The role that I was originally given to test for was Dargo. And we got callbacks after callbacks. And then Rockney S. O'Bannon came across from the States on about the third or the fourth casting. And Virginia Hay was there in that casting. And he mentioned to us the concept of, at that stage it was called Space Chase. And I thought, my God, this sounds fantastic. And they'd already been in pre-production for 5 years, working with the Henson Company. And I thought at that stage, you know, even if I got 1 day's work on it, or 1 episode, it would be a fantastic project to be involved with. So we kept on testing. Rockney went back and a couple more tests. And then I got a call one Friday, and my agency at the time said, "Well, I'm terribly sorry, but it's gone the other way." And I thought, well, you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained. A few days later, I got another call from my agency, and the request at that time was to see how I would like to, you know, work on this character, Captain Crace. And I thought, oh gosh, you know, great, I'll just go in and do an episode. They gave me the Bible, and I flicked through it, and I came across this whole section on Captain Crace, and I thought, oh my God, this person, sure, I'll sure as hell play him. So they offered me Captain Crace. And a few days after I was offered Crace, the office again called and said, well, how would you like to test for this character, this creature called Pilot? And I said, sure. So I went into the studio, and they sat me in front of a tape recorder, and they said, play him like a harassed accountant. And let's start from that beginning. And so I kicked around for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And they said, thank you very much. And I walked out of there, and the next thing is I got a call on that same day, and they said, you've got Pilot as well. So I was kind of doubly blessed.
Do not fire until my signal. Peacekeeper ships in visual range. Moya senses they've targeted us.
We don't have any choice. Do it now, Grace.
Tell them. Fire at will.
And the funniest thing is, not many people knew I worked on Pilot's voice.
Moya is returning to the asteroid field where she last saw Talon.
What?
There, you see?
Is Moya unclear on the concept of why we ran away?
She insists on searching for her offspring.
For me, the challenge was to give him a kind of an accent away from Crace, and also find a different rhythm, because I think it's always really important that you find a different rhythm for if you're doing if you're doing vocal work, voiceover work, and characterization, you've got to find a different rhythm from what you usually do. And the writer's lines actually helped me a great deal in that. And I imagine him to be a little bit like John Hurt, a British actor. So that's where I kind of got my original inspiration for him.
Moya doesn't understand your distress.
What really happens is I pitch it in a higher range, and all they do is put a light filter on it.
2, 1. Weapons fire on board. Weapons fire.
Originally, in the first season, I would be on set. And that was great for the other actors because they were getting a live performance. But because I was working also on another set, further around the corner on the lot, it wasn't practical for me to be there physically. So they then decided that it would be easier to actually shoot the episode and then have me come in a month and a half later in post-production and go into the studio and watch the rushes up there and just voice it. So it would take anything from an hour to 4 hours to 6 hours. And then what also made it interesting was that I had to start, revoicing Crace as well, because the sets, weren't. We were working in a tin shed, basically. When it rained, you couldn't hear anybody. So the rushes, when the rushes went to the States, all you could hear was just the rain. And so we all had to go in and recreate our performances. Sometimes that was great, but other times it made our workload a lot heavier because, especially in most of my episodes from season 2 and 3, I would end up screaming a lot in those episodes, and I'd have to go in and do the whole performance again. And that was a real test and a challenge for us as actors. But, it actually meant that we could clean up some stuff as well. So I'd be in there in this dark little studio and just, revoicing pilot stuff, and it was fun. I wish sometimes it would be that audiences could actually see what we would do as actors. If there was a dark glass wall that you could actually see what actors do and the process they go through. It's very funny because you're only working with a microphone, and I'm really animated in there when I'm working with pilot.
Ships approaching! Peacekeeper ships!
I would always try and imagine John Hurt's voice. And when I was traveling into the studio, I'd just do some vocal warm-ups at home before I got into the car. And then I would kind of locate his voice in my head. And then I'd be ready, and then I'd go in. Now the interesting part, and so it wouldn't take me long to find Pilot's voice. What I did find interesting once was I was doing Crace first, and then I ended up doing Pilot second. And I realized my voice had actually dropped a note, and sometimes a note and a half. So I realized then what I had to do was, if I had both roles to voice, I'd have to go in and do Pilot's voice first.
We may never see any of you again.
Pilot, just be ready to starburst if you don't see us hauling ass toward you. You give Moya my love.
And her love to you, as well as mine.
His main task was to take care of Moya. Number 1, take care of Moya. And number 2, take care of the crew. He was kind of like a navigator.
Nearing the origin of Talon's transmission, but there's no sign of Talon. He may have fled further into the field.
What I would have liked to have included in there more is his backstory.
I want to be joined so badly.
I can make that happen, young one.
But the Elders have not yet decreed it to be my destiny.
I offer you the chance to make your destiny. Look up. What do you see?
Stars.
That's what I offer you. Stars.
I dream of nothing else.
But of course, with a 45-minute show, you're really packing in a lot of information. Crace, on the other hand, his journey and where his kind of involvement, where we started, being this cranky, I always call him Captain Cranky.
Talvo is dead. Struck down by a weak, pathetic, inferior being. It must be avenged! I swear in Tavo's name, Crichton, you will die in my hands.
He wasn't bitter and twisted, but he was certainly on a revengeful trail for his brother being killed by Crichton. But after that journey kind of petered out. What was interesting then was the relationship he had with Crichton. They would have been great mates. Of course, it never kind of happened that way. And I think it was for a very good reason that it didn't happen that way, because if you don't have kind of a friction in the show, then you don't have a show.
I don't like this plan, and I never will. So you better behave yourself with Talon and Aaron. Because if you hurt either one of them, I'm gonna hunt you down.
You hunt me down. That would complete the symmetry nicely, wouldn't it?
I think one of the nice elements, or the great element about Farscape as opposed to any other science fiction show, if we've left a stamp anywhere, is we've left a stamp, we've taken a kind of a clean kind of show that Star Trek is, twisted around, twisted it inside out, and and made it dirty, muddied it up, and also realized that really it was a ship full of misfits.
Grace, come here.
Why?
Closer. This is secret.
If you try anything.
Closer.
If you don't have misfits that are always constantly at each other's throats, then you don't have friction, and therefore you don't have drama.
Name.
It's, John Crichton.
And where are you from? John Crichton.
Sir, he claims to be a human from a planet called Earth, but he's shown himself to
To be
be...
what, Officer Sun? A clever imposter, an accomplice to a ship full of escaping prisoners. My brother's murderer.
It's been a wonderful journey working on Captain Grace. The one promise I made to myself was that I would not make him a one-dimensional character. I would make him as complex and as passionate as I could, given the confines. And the wonderful part about that is I think all the writers kind of saw what I was doing and added to that, and he became a very complex character. And I think, for me, one of the kind of greatest roles I've played to date. The thing about Grace is that whenever he was quiet, that's when, as an audience, you've got to start worrying, because you never knew what the heck he was going to, do next.
Talon? Intruder?
And it was wonderful to play that. The whole thing for me, right from the beginning, was I wanted to be very, very physical with Grace. My whole reason for doing that was so that when the moments were quiet, I could really just stop everything and just sit there in the scene, not talk, or just look and just listen.
Have you given any thought to my previous proposal?
First up in the first season, and especially with the premiere, he's fairly one-dimensional. He's just a driven man.
We are going after the Leviathan.
But sir, regulation...
That is a direct order, Lieutenant.
And you have no idea where he comes from and what his background is and what he's thinking. What began to change for me or as the actor and also for the character is one scene at the end of season 1 where Grace is sitting down behind bars talking to Crichton in a hallway, Moya.
Riding our ass.
And then you get to see a little chink in there.
I understand you didn't mean to kill my brother. It was an accident. I realize that now, as I look back and try to understand it all.
You have any idea what you put me through? All of us through?
I thought it was about my brother. It should have been about my brother. Somewhere along the way, my priorities decayed. I realized I'd become more concerned with my own image and career.
It was a lovely scene because we're just sitting, looking at each other and just talking. And that moment for me, both as an actor and also shaping the character, that was the defining moment where we could actually begin to see into Grace. In season 2 and season 3, I start to have this relationship with Erin Sun. I think she would have been his ideal partner in crime, as it were.
Don't forget I have to give Crichton a reason for my absence.
He still has no knowledge of our arrangement?
None.
It might facilitate matters if you explain to him.
No.
Eventually, you'll have to.
Only when it's too late for him to interfere.
But I don't really think that he would have found love with her.
Grace, we were going to share command of Talon.
Choose otherwise.
He needs both of us.
No. We no longer need you. Talon can only have one master. You may return to Moya.
I will not.
She makes Grace understand about Talon.
You can't command a Leviathan, you can only persuade.
Talon is part Leviathan, part Peacekeeper. He was designed to take orders.
Why don't you let me talk to him?
So it's kind of like you're prying open this clam and just prying it very, very gently. And the key to Grace is Talon, but it happens through Irin Sun. And it's about allowing emotion to come in. He begins to think about other people. He begins to think of his relationship with this hybrid ship, which is like, begins to be like an errant kid.
There's no reason to be afraid. I'm here.
So is Grace. Talon, we want to help you, please.
So in a way, he kind of did find a love, a father kind of son relationship, an irreverent son, but a son nevertheless.
This is how the Peacekeepers treat their own. You, me, Officer Sun. But we are alike now. Orphaned from all we ever knew. We have only one another to rely upon.
If Grace had a fault in there, he was probably blinded by revenge.
I am here, Crichton.
To talk.
To kill you.
As we know in human beings, it's a passion that can just drive you, mad. And you can't see clearly, you can't think clearly. If anything, it clouded his logic.
You think I attacked your brother? Oh, yeah. I popped into the middle of a giant space battle and decided to go one-on-one with a total stranger in a far superior ship. Does that make any sense?
You rammed his prowler!
He ran into me!
You killed him!
It was an accident. Why do you keep blaming me? I did everything I could to avoid him.
Grace hated the fact that Scorpio put him in the Aurora chair.
Who is that?
My father. Turn it off!
Don't you like your past, Grace?
Turn it off!
The Aurora chair was not a good experience for him. And actually, it was very funny. The day that I actually sat in the Aurora chair, I had this idea that if you could be burnt by napalm, that would be the level of pain. So that's what I was thinking about as an actor. And I put myself on that course, and when we rolled camera, I just let go. And what happened was, on the third revolution, all the lights blew, and the whole studio went boom. And that was an amazing moment. Actually, I'll never forget.
Listen, we are all on the same team. We all want this ship destroyed.
And the only way to do that is with Talon.
Grace is proposing that he and Talon starburst while still inside the command carrier hangar.
The carrier will collapse upon itself. Outer decks first. Central core last.
Where do we meet up with you and Talon?
You don't. Starburst in a confined space where the energy can't dissipate. It'll be the hero's death that Talon deserves.
The great payoff at the end of season 3, where I stand there in Talon and I say, Starburst. That moment where I'm going, I'm right deep in your heart, right in your center right now, to Scorpius, and Scorpius knows exactly what's about to happen. And that for me, in terms of playing Crace as the actor, and also the full evolution of his arc, for me was a great joy. That moment I'll never forget. And so there was the payoff in terms of revenge. It took a long while to get there, but it worked.
Talon, the firing mechanism on your cannon was taken from you by the Peacekeepers. The rest have been captured. And Moya will soon be enslaved. Unless we do something. Something radical. Scorpius. I am just making my final goodbyes.
Where are you, Grace?
I am standing in your heart, and I am about to squeeze.
It was an amazing moment because I knew it was my last day of work.
To be one.
And so when I walked into the set that morning, that very morning, it was amazing because the whole crew kind of knew that it was the end as well.
That situation. You took away my command. You stole my life from me. Well, it's time, Scorpius. I am not leaving quietly.
Somebody find that fool and get him out of that ship!
I suggest you hang on to something.
I'm very happy with that scene, knowing that there was no other choice, and that's the only way that he could do it. And it was a brilliant move. I think he did it for the greater good, which was not really what you see of him when you first meet Crace.
Talon. Starburst.
By the end of the third season, you see this whole man, and it's wonderful having people come up to me and say, I really, really hated you. But then, you did something, and I hated you for that as well, because it made me feel for you, So I said, well, thank you very much.
Yes, Talon. I promise you that I will do everything I can. And Crichton and Aaron will as well. We are all here with you. You have not disappointed me. On the contrary, Talon. You are very brave.